وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له إقرارا به وتوحيدا وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما مزيدا. أما بعد. Chapter 8 of Kitab al-Salah, the book of prayer. باب فضل الأذان وحرب الشيطان عند سماعه. حديث أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: إذا نودي للصلاة أدبر الشيطان وله ضرات حتى لا يسمع التأذين، فإذا قضي النداء أقبل، حتى إذا ثوب بالصلاة أدبر، حتى إذا قضي التثويب أقبل، حتى يخطر بين المرء ونفسه، يقول اذكر كذا اذكر كذا لما لم يكن يذكر، حتى يظل الرجل لا يدري كم صلى. Hadith 216. Under chapter 8, the superiority of adhan and the running away of shaitan on its hearing. Narrated Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when the adhan is pronounced, Satan takes to his heels and passes wind with noise during his flight, in order not to hear the adhan. When the adhan is completed, he comes back and again takes to his heels when the iqamah is pronounced. And after its completion, he returns again till he whispers into the heart of the person to divert his attention from his salah, prayer, and makes him remember things which he does not recall to his mind before the salah, and that causes him to forget how much he has prayed. Chapter 8 says, Babu Fadl al-Adhan, the virtue and excellence of the adhan, the excellence of the adhan. First issue. Issue number 2. وَحَرَبِ الشَّيْطَانِ عِنْدَ سَمَعِهِ. And when shaitan hears the adhan, he runs and he flees. He runs and he flees. He does not wish to hear the adhan. So therefore, we're supposed to study in this chapter the excellence of the adhan, the virtue of making the adhan, the virtue of hearing the adhan, listening to the adhan, repeating after the mu'adhin, etc. Everybody understand this? Like we explained on Thursday night, the same is going to apply here. The hadith in Sahih Muslim that clearly mentions the virtue of the adhan is not mentioned in Sahih Bukhari, but the chapter heading what? Remains the same. Khayran inshallah, like we explained in detail on Thursday night. Everybody understand this? As far as the second part of the chapter heading, that the shaitan runs away when he hears the adhan, and he passes when he makes a noise, and then he returns, so on and so forth, then that is clearly agreed upon in both books. Khayran inshallah. The first narration in Sahih Muslim says, حدثنا محمد بن عبد الله بن نمير قال حدثنا عبدة عن طلحة بن يحيى عن عمي قال كنت عند معاوية بن أبي سفيان فجاءه المؤذن يدعوه إلى الصلاة فقال معاوية سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول المؤذنون أطول الناس أعناقا يوم القيامة. The first narration, Imam Muslim reports back to Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, in which he said that the people who have the longest necks on the day of judgment are the mu'adhins. The mu'adhins will have the longest necks on the day of judgment. So that's the first hadith in this chapter, which clearly proves the what? Virtue of making the adhan, and the excellence of making the adhan. That it is a ajr and a fadl, a bounty and an excellence in being a mu'adhin. It isn't a mean or base job or task, but it's something that is mighty and worthy. And the same applies to being an imam. An unfortunate trend has appeared among many students of knowledge, among many graduates from Islamic universities. They say, I don't want to be the imam. I don't want to be an imam. Whether I don't want to be imam because I'm not going to get paid enough for my time and my services, which could be the truth. I don't want to be the imam of a masjid because I'm going to be a slave of the masjid. The administration is going to run me, they're going to control me, They're going to force me to do this, to say this, to give the khutbah like this. Don't talk like that. Don't speak on this issue. Political agenda, so on and so forth. Please don't be too harsh. Don't be too much of sunnah. Be easy with the people. Don't say nothing against that. Now, you can't go anywhere else. You can't talk at any other masjid. You can't speak at any other place, which could be a reality. Number three, a third reason, some students of knowledge, they may say, I don't want to be an imam because anybody can be an imam. Being an imam is like, it's like cheap. This brother who didn't even study overseas is an imam. He can't speak Arabic, he's an imam. I'm lowering myself for being an imam. I'd rather be a resident scholar, or just a speaker, or the religious counselor, or the religious guide in the masjid. Many masjids you go to, and there's maybe 6 or 7 different personalities pertaining to the religious affairs of the masjid. Now, there's the imam, assistant imam, there's the resident scholar, there is the assistant resident scholar, there is the Islamic counselor, there is the backup khatib, and the list goes on. We're not saying that's haram, and we're not saying that's disliked. But the concept of the derogatory stance towards being an imam, and actually being an imam in the deen, is from the greatest of Allah's blessings. So much so that the ulama of Islam, they differed over which of the two was more virtuous, the mu'adhin or the what? Imam. And many of them, they said that it was the imam, and the Prophet said it was impossible for him to choose to be the imam, and it was better to be the mu'adhin. And some said, as it's narrated from Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, that if I had the ability to be the Khalifa and the mu'adhin, that's what I would do. If I had the ability to be the leader and the mu'adhin, that's what I would do. وَجَعَلْنَا الْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. Everybody understand this? So, we don't want to go off topic too much, but the concept, but this is a reality, this is a very widespread trend among graduates nowadays. I don't want to be an imam. Being an imam is the worst position to be in. You go back to America, you're an imam of a masjid, you're not a researcher, you're not a professor at a university, you're not this, you're not that. I can't be no imam. And that's not necessarily what the case in reality. Khairan inshallah. Al-Muhim is that this hadith clearly shows us the virtue of being a mu'adhin. And that narration here is not necessarily found what? In both books. That's why there is the discrepancy once more. Right? So the hadith of Muawiyah, in brief, because we're not studying Sahih Muslim, we're studying Bukhari Muslim. Hadith Muawiyah says that those who have the longest necks, أطول الناس أعناقا يوم القيامة, are the mu'adhins. The hadith proving the virtue of being a mu'adhin is crystal clear. What's meant by longest necks? Some of the ulama, they say al-haqiqa, really, literally. And when the people will stand in the mahshar, the standing place, and the people, that phenomena will take place, people will be swallowed up, drowning in sweat because of their sins, their problems, and those who have the longest necks will be delivered. Khair, inshallah. And others, they say that it's something which is ma'nawi, something that is figurative, or an expression in an ibadah, and that the Arabs consider a woman who has a long neck to be a beautiful woman. And they say that length of a person's neck shows jamal, shows beauty, and it shows the virtue, etc. Whether it's this or whether it's that, the asl is that it's al-haqiqa, that's the asl, even though that which is permissible in the Arabic language and that which is clear, quote unquote, metaphorically speaking, doesn't necessarily mean that it's ala khilaf al-zahir. That's a long discussion. What's important is it shows the virtue of the people who make the what? The adhan on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Khair, inshallah. Back to Bukhari and Muslim, Lulu Marjan. It says here, and that the shaitan runs away when he hears the adhan. Now, one can say that the hadith that's quoted, hadith 216, narrated Abu Hurairah, it also proves the same thing as well, but just not directly as the hadith of Muawiyah radiallahu anhu. Whereas if the shaitan runs away from the adhan, that shows you that the adhan is a weapon. It's a weapon, it's a major sword, it's like a whip against shaitan. That he hates it and he doesn't want to hear it. By running away and by making this durat, this noise, this wind, which we'll get into later on. Everybody understand this? And any verse from the Quran, any surah from the Quran, any prophetic supplication, any food, any drink, any place, any way of sleeping or eating that the shaitan doesn't like, and he's afraid of or scared of or he doesn't want to hear or experience, that is in itself is a what? A virtue. That's a what? That's a virtue. That's a what? That's a virtue. So this goes to show us also the virtue of the adhan. Khayrun inshallah. So back to hadith 2.6. Or in the chapter heading, along with the hadith, also prove that the shaitan has a physical body. The shaitan has a physical what? Body. Tayyib. Hadith narrated by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu says, أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إذا نودي للصلاة أدبر الشيطان وله ضراط حتى لا يسمع تأذين. When the call to the prayer is made, the shaitan runs away. So from the ways of protecting yourself from jinn possession, from sihr, from ayn, from hasad, protecting yourself from these evil things is the adhan. Everybody understand this? Is the what? Is the adhan. And that's a major faida as well, which many people don't do. Khayrun inshallah. The virtue of the adhan. It then says, فَإِذَا قُضِيَ النِّدَاءُ أَقْبَلَ. It says, when the adhan is pronounced, Satan takes to his heels. It says here, أَجْبَرَ, he runs away and passes wind with noise during his flight. And many of the ulama, they say this is real, as it is. As the shaitan has a body. And that some narrations say that the shaitan urinates in the ear of the man who doesn't get up and pray Fajr. And they also say that he has a wind as well. Passes a wind as well. How is it? The sound, the noise, we don't know. That's from the vague, unseen. But we believe in it as it is, al-dhahir, in the outward, manifest way. Khairan inshallah. Moving forward, it then says, فَإِذَا قُضِيَ النِّدَاءُ أَقْبَلَ. It says, when the adhan is completed, he comes back again. Once again, showing the virtue of the adhan, that it keeps the shaitan away. Hadith then says, حَتَّى إِذَا ثُوِّبَ بِالصَّلَاةِ أَدْبَرَ. It says here, when the iqamah is pronounced, he does what? Adbara. He runs away once more. حَتَّى إِذَا قُضِيَ التَّثْوِيبُ أَقْبَلَ. The tathweeb, the iqamah, when it's made or when it's finished, he does what? He comes back. حَتَّى يَخْطُرَ بَيْنَ الْمَرْءِ وَنَفْسِهِ. And then he starts his evil deeds by inspiring the man and getting the man to think about things that weren't even on his mind before he made the takbir. How real is that? Food, work, ticket, this, that. I left my phone, fulana, this one, that one. You weren't even thinking about it before you made the takbir.